So, I've been working multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter, uh, musician for a long time, dating back to high school. And so the process of getting ready to go for the gig has gone through sort of a three-stage evolution for me. The first stage is, of course, um, early on, just I have a gig tonight. I better just grab the stuff, and off the top of my head, I need this and this and this and this, and it doesn't take long before you mess up and you forget something crucial, and have to wing it, do without it, which leads to stage two, where I stayed for a long time, which is having an actual checklist. So I'm kind of a dinosaur, and so it was a paper checklist for me for a long time. Now, of course, it would be like a note on my phone or whatever, but like actually going through and making sure, did I grab this, did I grab that, and that works pretty well until it starts to accumulate a bunch of extras. The safety items, the backups, the every now and then I need this thing, but not always. And then before you know it, you've made a mistake again. And you've skipped over something because that list is too complex and you didn't have enough time, you were rushing, whatever happens. So I've now moved on to a third stage, which is that I now favor having sort of a ready go bag for every occasion. And I already did a video about what's in my stick bag as a drummer, but today I want to go through what's in my Vocalist go bag. So not the PA itself, that's its own thing, but all the accessories I would bring, given that I'm going to bring, typically this acoustic A1000 with me. But whichever PA I bring, what's in the Vocalist go bag? The stuff I need to carry off, singing at a gig. So let's take a look. Okay, so first, just a quick note about the bag itself. Now, mine is very large and very long because, among other things, I want it to absolutely be able to contain the mic stands and other stands I need so that I can just have it in one go, ready to go. I've come to favor this long Roadrunner gear bag. It's got lots of straps, lots of pouches, got pouches bottom and top and one on the side. Lots of things to grab, lots of things to clasp. And then inside there's a couple other pouches. Okay, so first off, peeking inside, you can see I actually have like bags within the bag. Like I've got, this bag's got a bunch of goodies that in and of itself is almost everything I need. And then I've got some long stands. So what I'm going to do real quick is unpack the contents of the bag, lay them out, and then talk about each one in turn, starting with what's inside this goodie bag inside here. Okay, so I've had this bag for a very long time. Totally love it. This used to just be enough by itself, and I would carry the mic stand separately, and things have just sort of grown a little bit, but I still, love carrying around this bag. I'm just showing you the size of it. Now let's unpack it, and I'll show you what's inside. Okay, so that bag mostly contains mics and cables, and so the most essential, if I had nothing else that I've got to have in the bag, is of course, I need one vocal mic for myself, and I need a cable for it, and I need an instrument cable. And so the vocal mic I have been using since the 90s, and I love it. I had a shootout that confirmed how great it is this digital reference by Audio-Technica DR160. I don't think they even make these anymore, but this is so crisp and clean and sensitive. Love it. I always carry an extra butterfly clip just in case I'm in a situation where, the clip on the mic stand broke or is, otherwise faulty. I've got something with that mic. The next thing that's almost as essential as these things is got to have a power strip. How often is it that that's the first problem you're going to have at some unfamiliar venue, is that the power situation is a little sketchy. You've got like one outlet for a whole band or something like that. Got to have some power distribution, got to have some surge protection. Just have to have some means of solving that very basic problem. The next thing that I always need is a backup microphone. Same shootout exposed at this other one, the Audio-Technica ATM41 HE. Actually, my ear won the shootout, which kind of surprised me. I expected my DR160 to. I also always carry an SM-94 as a backup instrument mic in the event that like my guitar pickup fails or something like that. And with that, now we get into, I want some spare cabling. So a few extra mic cords. I actually carry 4 just for my specific needs. And then some extra 1/4 inch of varying sizes for emergencies. And you could argue maybe I've got too many of these. I could definitely, get by with. I've never had to use them all. Let me put it that way. But at the same time, I'm sort of calculating with the size of my band, with the fact that we often are needing to support like some other acts on the bill. That is most often the time where I get an unanticipated emergency, as it were, of somebody forgot something. Is another band on the bill doesn't have a mic, doesn't have, we've got 3 singers, we have I have my acoustic guitar, but I don't know, do you have a mic or something? So it's always something unanticipated when you haven't worked with somebody before, and there isn't always something unanticipated. But no harm in that, and all this stuff fits in that little bag, so might as well carry it. So now let me show you some extras that I put in the side pouch, which are kind of more like my emergency items. So let's go to that. Okay, so I carry all this stuff in the side pouch, and let me just run you through it sort of left to right, up to down. So I carry 2 spare sets of strings, both my electric spare and my acoustic spare, because I don't necessarily know which guitar I'm going to be playing if I'm playing one, along with a string changing tool. One of the most useful things that I actually use, not just in emergencies, but all the time, is a little flashlight. This, I don't know why I didn't use this, from the very get-go, but I've only recently bought a bunch of these. So useful. I have one in my stick bag, have one in my guitar bag. Also have one here. So useful, you're crawling around, trying to set up in a potentially dark space and just needing to throw a little extra light. So for me as a drummer, having extra drum keys makes a lot of sense. I don't personally use a guitar pick, but everybody else does, so I carry a couple picks in case. 9-volt battery, obviously, if my acoustic, as with most acoustics, the onboard pickup is run with a 9-volt. Never know when it's going to actually go out. I have a huge songbook, which I do not have completely memorized, so I carry some clips, various clips, to keep my pages from blowing in the wind when we're at farmers markets, etc. And then a few twisty ties just for general use if I need to use those in a pinch. So these go in the side pouch, and now let's move on to what's in the big bag. Okay, so all this stuff is the rest of what's in the bag in the various pouches, the main pouch, and then the side and top pouches. So starting at the top, some of these are very specific to me, of course. So starting at the top, I've got my music stand, all folded up. It's a conductor style stand, really solid, doesn't topple, etc. I've got a 3 guitar stand, because I most often travel with 2 guitars for long gigs for sure, and then sometimes need to, Gene may want to put a second guitar out there. I've got a like an acoustic guitar, like a foot stand, which just makes it more comfortable if I'm sitting on a stool for 4 hours at a farmer's market. Playing guitar just makes it a whole lot more comfortable to play. I carry 2 heavy-duty stands. Kind of learned my lesson from having a flimsy stand that, especially as a drummer, I would have over my, tall over my shoulder, and then just kept falling like in the middle of the gig. And I actually have a video of me trying to repair it in the middle of a song. But enough of that. And so 2 very reliable, heavy duty, also very tall mic stands, because one of the applications for me is to have it be quite tall, coming down over my shoulder as a singing drummer. Then I've got this sort of row of extras. I've got like an AB box and its power supply, a tuner, a capo. Again, I never play with a capo, but other people sometimes will say, oh, hey man, do you have a capo? And also it can be used sort of as a makeshift camera stand for your phone. You can like set it on a tabletop and it'll hold it in place. It's kind of an interesting little hack. I forget where I picked that up, but then I've got sort of a spare universal power cord for PAs, amps, etc. One more cheap vocal mic for like if the other act has forgotten or has a second person. I've got this DRV100. Actually, in the shootout that I did, I found that I liked that a lot better as a vocal mic than even an SM-58, and it's a lot cheaper. So I actually picked up a bunch of those when they were on super duper sale, and they've worked well as cabinet mics in a pinch. They've worked well for vocal mics for sure, and a pretty solid little mic from Digital Reference. I, as a singer, always have to sing with a cough drop, so I make sure that I've got plenty of bags of cough drops all around. This is my music stand light. This is just a little rug. Never know, like, especially when you're playing outdoors, farmers markets, etc., may just need to throw down something to kind of protect yourself, protect your gear, keep everything out of harm's way, and make a nice, pleasant surface to step on and to have your stuff on without it getting dirty. I don't use it very much, but I've been glad at least 5 times to have been carrying a direct box. Some kind of tip jar in case there's nothing better, and then a nice long just standard extension cord. So in reviewing the footage and editing this together, I realized that actually there are 2 things that should be in the bag that are not in the bag. One is something that I took out during the pandemic to do live streams that needs to go back in, and that is my songbook. So this is, for me, the top 200 of my songs that we typically do play live. I don't have them all memorized. This is, lyrics and chords for me. If I didn't have this, I'd have to size the set down to the things that I do have by heart, that I do know by heart, which is, I'd estimate, somewhere between 30 and maybe 50 of the songs, which probably would get us through most gigs, unless it's a very long farmer's market. But I'd prefer to have this and be mistake-free. And, that's why I carry it around. I need it. So I need to put it back in. And then the second thing is, I was reminded of a time where we were sharing the bill with some friends of ours, and their drummer didn't show up, but they had, the guitarist actually owned the drum kit and it brought the gear. They just didn't have someone to play. I didn't think I was playing drums that night, so I didn't have my stick bag, didn't have my cymbal bag, and I'd driven a different car than the one I would take if I was bringing drums, which has some emergency drum supplies in it in the trunk. So I'm going to put a couple pairs of sticks and a pair of brushes in the side pouch. And I actually have the perfect pairs of sticks and brushes. These are not my preferred brand. They're not, but the weight is just about right. I'm not going to miss these from the studio. So, better that they live in the pouch and maybe get used and, come to my heroic rescue than sit in the box of sticks I don't typically use forever and ever. So cross your fingers, maybe these will get an adventurous use sometime soon. So drop a comment if you think there's something else I might have forgotten, or if there's something interesting you once forgot, or something that you think I ought to consider including, or just tell the tale of the worst thing you ever forgot. And until that, till next time, I'll see you guys later.